Former President Donald Trump has always been known for his unconventional approach to foreign policy. His tenure in the White House was marked by a series of bold and often controversial decisions that defied traditional diplomatic norms. From his dealings with North Korea to his renegotiation of trade deals, Trump consistently demonstrated a willingness to break from the status quo. This maverick style has both its critics and its supporters, but one thing is certain: it has left an indelible mark on the global stage. His latest Middle East plan is no exception. This new strategy, which has been the subject of intense debate and scrutiny, aims to reshape the geopolitical landscape of the region. Unlike previous administrations that focused on diplomatic negotiations and military interventions, Trump's plan takes a different route. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the region, Trump has unveiled a strategy that sidelines Israel entirely. This decision has raised eyebrows and sparked a flurry of reactions from political analysts, foreign policy experts, and leaders around the world. By excluding Israel, Trump is challenging a long-standing pillar of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. This is a stark departure from his previous unwavering support for the Jewish state. During his presidency, Trump was known for his strong pro-Israel stance, which included moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. These actions were celebrated by many in Israel and among his supporters, but they also drew criticism and heightened tensions in the region. The question on everyone's mind is simple: what does Trump hope to achieve by cutting out a key player in one of the world's most volatile regions? Some speculate that this move is part of a larger strategy to realign U.S. interests in the Middle East, focusing more on economic partnerships and less on traditional alliances. Others believe it could be an attempt to force a new kind of dialogue among the region's other players. The plan itself focuses heavily on economic development as the path to peace and stability. By investing in infrastructure, technology, and education, Trump envisions a Middle East that is economically interdependent and less prone to conflict. This approach is based on the idea that economic prosperity can create a foundation for lasting peace. Trump envisions a future where prosperity, not political solutions, bridges the divides in the region. This vision includes large-scale investments in key sectors aimed at creating jobs and improving the quality of life for millions of people. The hope is that economic growth will lead to greater stability and reduce the appeal of extremist ideologies. It's a bold gamble, to say the least. Critics argue that this approach oversimplifies the complex and deeply rooted issues that have plagued the Middle East for decades. They point out that economic incentives alone may not be enough to overcome the historical, religious, and political factors that drive conflict in the region. Can economic incentives truly overcome decades of deep-seated animosity and mistrust? Only time will tell. The success of this plan hinges on the willingness of Middle Eastern countries to embrace a new economic paradigm and work together towards common goals. It also depends on the ability of the U.S. to maintain its influence and support for these initiatives. But one thing is for sure: the Middle East is in for another wild ride. As the region navigates this new era, the world will be watching closely to see if Trump's unconventional approach can bring about the lasting peace and stability that has eluded so many before him. Trump's vision for the Middle East centers around a massive investment in the Palestinian territories. This vision is not just a fleeting idea, but a comprehensive plan aimed at transforming the region. The focus is on economic revitalization and infrastructural development, which are seen as the keys to long-term peace and stability. He's talking billions of dollars pumped into rebuilding war-torn Gaza. The idea is to create a thriving, self-sustaining economy that can provide jobs and opportunities for the local population. This would involve not just rebuilding homes and businesses, but also creating new industries and markets, and revitalizing the West Bank's economy. The West Bank, with its rich history and cultural significance, is seen as a potential hub for tourism and commerce. By investing in local businesses and infrastructure, the plan aims to make the West Bank a beacon of prosperity in the region. Think new infrastructure, state-of-the-art hospitals, and cutting-edge schools. These facilities are not just about providing services, but also about instilling a sense of hope and progress among the people. Modern hospitals would offer advanced medical care, while new schools would provide quality education, preparing the next generation for a brighter future. It's an ambitious plan, no doubt. The scale of the proposed projects is enormous, and the timeline for completion is aggressive. However, the potential benefits are equally significant, promising a transformed landscape and improved quality of life for millions. But here's the catch: Israel is nowhere to be found in this equation. This omission is striking, given Israel's proximity and its complex relationship with the Palestinian territories. The absence of Israel raises questions about the feasibility and sustainability of the plan. Instead, Trump is looking to Arab nations like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan to foot the bill and lead the charge. These countries have their own interests and agendas, and their involvement could either be a game changer or a source of new tensions. This has raised more than a few eyebrows. Critics argue that relying on these nations could complicate the already delicate balance of power in the region. There are concerns about whether these countries can be trusted to act in the best interests of the Palestinian people. Can these countries, with their own complex relationships with both Israel and Palestine, be trusted to act as impartial brokers? Their historical ties and political alliances add layers of complexity to the situation. The success of the plan hinges on their ability to navigate these complexities effectively. And what about the Palestinian Authority? Their role in this plan is crucial, yet it remains ambiguous. The Palestinian Authority has its own set of challenges and priorities, and their cooperation is essential for the plan to succeed. Are they on board with this plan, or are they being sidelined as well? It's all very unclear. The lack of clarity and the many unanswered questions make it difficult to predict the outcome. What is certain, however, is that the stakes are incredibly high, and the world is watching closely. As you can imagine, the reactions to Trump's plan have been mixed, to put it mildly. The announcement has sent ripples through various communities, sparking debates and discussions in public places, homes, and political arenas alike. People are gathering in groups, passionately voicing their opinions, some in support, others in vehement opposition. The atmosphere is charged with a blend of skepticism, hope, and outright outrage. Israeli officials are fuming, accusing Trump of abandoning a key ally and jeopardizing their security. The sense of betrayal is palpable, with many feeling that years of strategic partnership are being undermined. Security forces are on high alert, and the political discourse is rife with accusations and counter-accusations. The Israeli government is scrambling to reassess its position and strategies in light of this unexpected development. Prime Minister Netanyahu, never one to mince words, called the plan a slap in the face and vowed to oppose it at every turn. His fiery speeches have only added fuel to the fire, rallying his supporters and further polarizing the political landscape. Netanyahu's defiance is a clear signal that this plan will face significant hurdles before any form of acceptance or implementation. Palestinian leaders, while cautiously welcoming the focus on economic development, remain skeptical. They argue that economic incentives cannot replace the need for a fair and just political solution. The leadership is wary, seeing this as another attempt to sideline their legitimate aspirations for statehood and sovereignty. Meetings are being held to discuss the implications, and the general sentiment is one of cautious pessimism. They see it as a way to bypass the thorny political issues at the heart of the conflict. On the streets, the reaction is mixed but leans towards distrust. Protests have erupted, with people demanding that their political rights not be overshadowed by economic promises. Families gathered to discuss the future, uncertain and wary of what lies ahead. The sense of unresolved tension is almost tangible. And let's not forget the Arab world. The broader Arab community is watching closely, with leaders and citizens alike weighing the potential impacts of Trump's plan on the region. The geopolitical stakes are high, and the reactions are as varied as the countries themselves. While some leaders have expressed cautious optimism, others see this as a blatant attempt by Trump to further his own interests in the region. The skepticism is rooted in a long history of complex relationships and unfulfilled promises. Discussions are ongoing, and the consensus is far from being reached. The Arab world remains a critical player in this unfolding drama, and their collective response will undoubtedly shape the future trajectory of this plan. Section 4. From Ally to Outsider, the shift in U.S.-Israel relations. The exclusion of Israel from Trump's plan marks a seismic shift in U.S.-Israel relations. For decades, the U.S. has been Israel's staunchest ally, providing unwavering diplomatic, military, and financial support. But this latest move suggests that the special relationship may be on shaky ground. Some argue that Trump is simply trying to shake things up, to force both sides to the negotiating table. Others believe that he's genuinely trying to find a new path to peace, one that doesn't prioritize one side over the other. Whatever his motivations, one thing is clear: this is a gamble that could have far-reaching consequences for the entire region. Section 5. A Legacy of Discord: Trump's Turbulent Middle East History. To understand the significance of Trump's new plan, it's essential to look back at his track record in the Middle East. During his presidency, Trump was a staunch supporter of Israel. He recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital, moved the U.S. embassy there, and endorsed Israel's annexation of the Golan Heights. He also withdrew the U.S. from the Iran nuclear deal, imposed crippling sanctions on Iran, and brokered the Abraham Accords, normalizing relations between Israel and several Arab states. These moves were praised by Israel and its supporters but condemned by Palestinians and their allies. Section 6. Gaza, a land in ruins, a future uncertain. At the heart of the current crisis lies Gaza, a region in turmoil. This tiny strip of land, home to over 2 million Palestinians, has been ravaged by years of relentless conflict and blockade. The humanitarian situation is dire, with widespread poverty, unemployment, and a lack of basic necessities for survival. Trump's plan proposes to rebuild Gaza from the ground up, but many are skeptical of its feasibility. They argue that without addressing the underlying political issues, any economic progress will be short-lived and unsustainable. They point to the fact that Gaza has been rebuilt before, only to be destroyed again in the next inevitable round of fighting. Section 7. Can money heal all wounds? The limits of economic solutions. Trump's belief that economic incentives can pave the way to peace is not entirely unfounded. After all, history is replete with examples of countries that were once bitter enemies but are now close trading partners. But the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is unique in its complexity and intractability. Decades of mistrust, violence, and broken promises have created a deep chasm between the two sides. While economic development is undoubtedly important, it cannot be a substitute for a just and lasting political solution. Without addressing the core issues of borders, settlements, security, and refugees, any attempt at peace building is doomed to fail.